What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Okay, so I think I finally fixed this whole speaker joint. So now I can finally talk about this album. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, released in 1973 on Harvest Records. You guys should know who Pink Floyd is. And this is probably my favorite rock album of all time. I mean, I just love this. I love this album so much. Yes, I do admit it's a little bit overrated, and I do admit a lot of people know this album due to this famous album cover. But at the same time, it's still a damn good album. That's all I'm gonna say. Harvest Records under Capitol Records, you know. Anyway, Pink Floyd consists of members Nick Mason, Roger Waters, Richard Wright, and Syd Barrett. Those were the original members. And they formed in 1965. You know, they had a love for music. They started like performing in gigs and all that stuff. And so fast forward to 1967, they dropped their first album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, which was a classic album in the psychedelic era. And it's kind of underrated and slept on today. Because like, when it comes to Pink Floyd, I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But like, by the time that album came out, and Syd Barrett, he was like hooked on drugs a lot. He had like mental illnesses too, and so they brought in David Gilmour when they were recording the next album in 1968, A Sauce Full of Secrets. And that was the only album that featured all 5 members of Pink Floyd and things of that nature. And Syd Barrett, he left the group, and then he had his like short-lived solo career. Fast forward to 1969, they dropped their double album, Umaguma, 1969. That's a very interesting record because it's like one half of it is live album, the other half is like studio album. And so that was a very good album. I love the live version of that album and shit like that. But at the same time, the band did not like the album because I guess it was something to do with like the mixing of the album. Fast forward to 1970, they dropped Atom Heart Mother. That was actually, believe it or not, their first #1 album. And fast forward to 1971, was like their breakthrough, and it was metal. And like metal, that was like, in my opinion, Pink Floyd going into one with that progressive rock. And David Gilmour solidified his place as a member of the group with that album. So by the time they were touring this album, Roger Waters, he came up with the idea for making a whole album about life and shit. And so that's why this album came out, Dark Side of the Moon. Yes, this is classic album right here. Singles album is known for are Money, Time, Us and Them, and it wasn't really officially released as a single, but Brain Damage and Eclipse, you can say that was a single too. I'm gonna show you inside the booklet. There you go. This is the famous album cover. Interesting story. Like, this album was supposed to like represent like most of the live performances and shit like that. Mostly represents like very, very good. To me, I forgot what the album cover was supposed to represent. I might like put an annotation about that. I said it before my other video I did about Pink Floyd, but you guys know the story about that. You have like them with like the Egyptian pyramids, some shit like that. And you got lyrics right here. Pictures of Pink Floyd performing live. That's one thing about Pink Floyd, like their live performances are impeccable. Yeah. Alright, now I'm gonna get right into the songs and shit. First song off this album is called Speak to Me and Breathe. Speak to Me, basically, they're not really like singing. No one's singing on the song. It's just basically full of like sound effects of other songs on the album. Like you have like the money sound effects, the time sound effects, shit like that. Oh shit. Then fast forward to Breathe. Now Breathe is like a slow paced, relaxing kind of song. And like the guitar David Gilmour was playing, very, very good. And basically what that song is basically about is like your first breath in life. Very good song. My opinion, it sets the whole tone of the album. Track number 2, On the Run. Basically another instrumental. It talks to, according to like Richard Wright, he talks about like it could mean like traveling or often means like a fear of death. I love that song. I love the synthesizers on that song right there. Next song is Time. It was like the only song on the album credited to all 4 members. And what I got from that song is how people would like to waste time and let time slip away and things like that. A little trivia, this is actually the final Pink Floyd song credited to all 4 members, and the last one that featured Richard Wright on lead vocals until a song from the Division Bell. Very good song, although it takes about 2.5 minutes for it to exactly hear singing. It's still a damn good song. And out of nowhere, by the time you reach like the last third of the song, you hear a reprise of Breathe. And he's like saying, home, home again. I like to be here when I can. You know, very, very good song. Highly recommended. Track number 4, The Great Gig in the Sky. That's basically like, this song is basically talking about death, but at the same time, Clare Torry, she was actually a session singer at that time. And a little, according to the Classic Albums review on Dark Side of the Moon, she was not a huge fan of Pink Floyd, and I think it was Roger Waters who wanted her to do like a vocal. They said just do it whatever you like on this recording, and she just sang her heart out like that, like that shit like that. Very, very good song. That song is giving me goosebumps. Like this was like in 1973. No one was doing stuff like this in 1973. Oh, and Richard Wright. I think he actually produced and wrote this tune too. He definitely did his thing on this. Oh, and a little trivia about Great Gig in the Sky. The singer Clare Torry, she actually sued Pink Floyd, I believe 2005, because they didn't give her songwriting royalties and stuff. So they didn't give her songwriting royalties, and that I don't know who won the lawsuit or not. But yeah, that's crazy. Next song is Money. Everyone knows this song. You hear this on like classic radio stations everywhere. It's known for that distinct bass line by Roger Waters, like hands down, definitely one of my top 5 bass lines of all time in rock music. And basically the song is talking about how people use money and how people just waste money and lavish lifestyle. I don't know if it's really true, but I was reading something and they said Roger Waters did not like the song. Or he liked it, but he didn't like the fact that people know the album because of that song. Because he thought that money didn't really fit the album. But if you really think about it, it kind of does fit the album. Like, whenever because basically Dark Side of the Moon was basically talking about what you see in life, and believe money is like a factor of life, and the way how people use money, people spend money, flaunt money around. Basically, I feel like that theme really did fit the album. Anyway, what's the next song? Next song is my favorite song next to Great Gig in the Sky, Us and Them. Oh yes, David Gilmour and Richard Wright. Their chemistry on this song was very, very dope chemistry. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna charge my laptop right quick. Alright, there we go. One quick second. Sorry about that. Okay, so where was I? Alright, okay, Great Gig in the Sky. I mean, damn, Us and Them. Beautiful song right there. I don't say beautiful song like that, but I love like the jazz and the space rock vibe of the song. Like, I don't know, that sax solo, like da 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 da. I mean, every time I hear that song, it takes me to like another world, another planet or some shit. A little trivia about that song. The song was actually written on piano by Richard Wright for this film called Zabriskie Point in 1969. And its original title was called A Violin Sequence. But according to the director, he said he loved this song, but he found the song to be too sad, and it reminds him of church. And so that's why the song was shelved until Dark Side of the Moon. I kind of thought that was very interesting though, because I can see what he says the song kind of sound like church, but damn, man. You know what they say, one man's junk, another man's treasure. That's all I'm saying. That's like my favorite song next to Great Gig in the Sky. Any Color You Like, instrumental. What I got from that song is like the lack of choice people make. That's what I read about this song, and very good song. And the last song is like Brain Damage and Eclipse. Although they're like two very different songs, at the same time they combine those two together like in radio and all the time. Brain Damage is like a Roger Waters, he sung that song, and he's talking about mental illness, and he said the song was actually about Syd Barrett. That's one thing I respect about Pink Floyd though, because even though like Syd Barrett, he was long gone from the band by the time Dark Side of the Moon was made, but they still paid tribute to him with many songs like Don't Believe Me, check out the album Wish You Were There, Wish You Were Here, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And I definitely need to caught my hands on that album, but I'm gonna try to find. I've seen the album on stores, and I've seen it for like $25. So I'm gonna find that album and I'm gonna get that album. But I'm looking for a reasonable price. But anyway, Brain Damage, definitely a good song. I love how quiet in tone it is, and then once you get to Eclipse, it just goes all loud and shit. Like, very, very nice way to end the album. That's all the songs off this album. Overall, classic album. I mean, this could be like, I feel like my favorite albums from Pink Floyd, my top 5 are, number 1 is Dark Side of the Moon. Number 2, I might have to say Animals, a very underrated album. Number 3, The Wall. Number 4, Piper Gates of Dawn. And number 5, Wish You Were There. I know so many people wish you were here, but that's like everyone's favorite Pink Floyd album. But I don't know, this album speaks more volumes. It's more relatable. Although almost all their work are relatable, but this album really hits home for me. And another thing too about this album was on the charts from 1973 to 1987. That's 14 years. 14 years this album was on the charts. And another thing too, like this album really is like this album kind of like, a lot of people do think this is Pink Floyd's first album. It's not Pink Floyd. Let me just say, this is actually their 8th studio album, believe it or not. Like, a lot of people say this is their first album. But other than that, Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, 1973. This album has been re-released, reissued countless times, so there's no reason for you to have it if you're a Pink Floyd fan, or if you're not a Pink Floyd fan. Classic album. And that's all the time I have. Stay tuned for more stuff. Peace.